Welcome back. I'm Nolan Stoltz, composer of the Route 66 Suite, and this is part 15 of AD 1926. We're going to go from Springfield, Missouri to Carthage. Here's downtown Springfield, the square. That's where we left off. So we're going to head out of town. Now, this is Trailview Road. Not a lot of people know that this was Route 66 because coming out of Springfield, it puts you on Missouri 266. And that to the north of us right now, that was never 66. So take a little detour down a Trailview Road, drive this little bit. Missouri 266 curves south here and then curves west. So essentially 66 stays straight from here right onto 266. But it's a dead end, so you have to detour around. Now we're on Missouri 266. You see the church off to the left there. That's the Yakeley Church, so we're approaching the town of Yakeley. Perhaps a ghost town. It appears on some maps. It's an official place name for sure. But that may just be referring to the Yakeley Cemetery and the Yakeley Church right here. Dates back to the mid-19th century, so we're talking a good 75 years before 66 came through. So perhaps it was a community at that time, not quite sure, a little bit of a mystery. I could look into that a bit more. But yeah, let's continue down original 66. Between the ghost towns of Yakeley and Plano, Route 66 is on what is now Farm Road 140. This nice little stretch of 66 is nestled among the trees, hidden from view from Missouri 266. I'll have to do more research on Yakeley, but Plano for sure was a town in 1926. Predates it actually. This is the old general store from 1902. In the summers, it's quite lush, with trees and bushes and grass. But in the winter, you can get into the old general store. You know, the trees are bare. You can actually walk in the middle of this place. Check this out. Also, inspiration for the 66 Ghost Town movement. Caddy Corner, or Kitty Corner if you prefer, from the general store is an old titled gas station. But we're going to head west out of the ghost town of Plano, taking Old 66. Next up is Halltown. This is not a ghost town. It's actually always been a small town. Quite old, though. On the right is this building from 1900, the old Oddfellows building. It's going to return as an antique store. It's still closed, but they did show me around and gifted me a nice old historic postcard. On the left is the Las Vegas Hotel, built a little bit after 26, but that's okay. Next up, we're going to head to Paris Springs. Now, Paris Springs is actually north of 66, so where we're headed is called Paris Springs Junction, because that's where 66 intersects with the road that heads to Paris Springs. But definitely a treat to stop there. This area has also been called Parita, but never officially with any post office or anything. Many of the current buildings were built after 1926, so out of the scope of AD 1926 movement. However, this cobblestone garage was built in 1923. There's more about this place on a Travel Buddy bonus content video, so look for that on Patreon. After Missouri 266, we get onto State Highway N. Then we turn right onto County Road 2062. Then we go under this cool bridge from 1923 over the Johnson Creek. And we head into the ghost town of Spencer. So certainly this place is also inspiration for the 66 Ghost Towns movement, but I get more into this in a Travel Buddy bonus content video, so look for that on Patreon. Next up, we have Phelps. And there are a couple buildings that existed in 1926. You got the old hotel and the school. And then in Rescue, you have the Reed's cabins. And here's one of the surviving buildings there. And you've got this old lodge, 19th century, in a villa. And then east of Carthage, a newer road was built just a little bit to the south, but you can take this original 66. We're going to continue along on the other side of these truck trailers and enter the former community of Maxville. In one sense, it's a Route 66 ghost town because the name is really no longer used, and it's not really a part of Carthage either. On the other hand, it's not a ghost town because a lot of people live there. I consider a ghost town simply because it seems to have lost its identity as Maxville. On the right are the Red Rock Apartments, currently being renovated. They date back to 1927. It was an auto court with gas station, a cafe, and a garage. Up ahead, you can choose to go right and take alternate 66, that dates back to 1931, but since we're focusing on AD 1926, we're going to go left and take the original 66 and enter Carthage. Although the Route 66 sign on the right directs you to turn right, 66 actually stayed straight onto Jiminy Lane. I stopped for a picnic lunch at this lovely roadside park. This is a common thing that a 1926 traveler would do. I don't know if this park existed in 1926. I suppose I could look that up. But it would still give that flavor of early 66 traveler. By the way, it is mentioned in the 1946 Guide to Route 66 by Rittenhouse. As you can see, the road just ends, and if you were to keep driving, you'd end up in the Spring River. So one has to detour around, which is, I'm sure, is why they have those 66 signs pointing you for the detour. And here's another shot of this ghost bridge, and we'll end here in the northeast end of Carthage. Thanks for watching. We've got some more AD 1926 videos for you coming up. Subscribe at patreon.com/Route66Suite to see those videos. Thank you.